I would like to welcome everyone today to the State Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, August 8th, 2023. And we do appreciate everyone's patience. We know we're a little late starting than usual, so we appreciate your patience as we completed some of our committee meetings earlier today. I would like to ask Dr. O'Shields if he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everyone would please stand. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you. As we begin, I do ask all of our board members and our speakers to please speak directly into your microphone, just so we can accurately transcribe today's meeting. That being said, we will move on to the approval of the minutes. For our board members, you have before you the minutes from June 13th, 2023. Is there any objection to approving the minutes as presented? Hearing none, those minutes are approved by unanimous consent. You also have before you the agenda for today's meeting. Is there any objection to approving that agenda as presented? Hearing none, the agenda is approved by unanimous consent. We do have some visitors that I would like to acknowledge, and we do welcome everyone in attendance here today, and we thank you for your interest in the State Board of Education. But we have Tracy Williams from Teach Right USA, Tammy White from Teach Right USA, and then Jay Ragley from Advocate USA. No. Would you?
He left early.
Oh, left early. But he was going to be here at 1 o'clock, and we are so appreciative of that. So thank you. All right. As I was sharing, we do welcome everyone here today. It is hard to believe that we have started a school year in many districts already. Some are getting ready to. Feels like we just closed the year out so recently. So we are so happy for our schools that are already in session, and we wish them the best, the start of the best school year yet. And we also are thinking of those schools who will be starting school soon. As part of my report, I also want to introduce, we have a new board member that will be joining us, and she is here with us today. And so Ms. Jackie Lynn, she's in the audience today, and I just wanted to tell you a little about her. She will be representing the 4th Judicial Circuit on our State Board of Education, and that would include the areas of Chesterfield, Darlington, Dillon, and Marlboro. She has served as an educator for 29 years, and 24 of those have been in the state of South Carolina. And she is currently the principal in Darlington County School District. Also, though, she is also a U.S. Army veteran. Ms. Lynn served 3 years on active duty and 8 years in the U.S. Army Reserves, and she resides in Darlington County with her husband and 2 children. And we are so happy to have you join us on the State Board. Thank you. I would now like to recognize Superintendent Weaver for her report.
Sure, and just to build on that briefly, Jackie is also responsible, I have learned, for giving Matthew Ferguson his first job in education.
Look at
and
there.
so we are incredibly grateful to you, Jackie, for that. I cannot imagine doing this job without Matthew here. So, and he is.
That is wonderful. It's so great when we have veteran educators that recognize the talent in the next generation too.
Yep,
So that's
yep,
great. Thank
that's
you.
amazing.
It is.
Well, I know we're starting late, so I'm going to try to keep my remarks brief, but as you all know, I get very enthusiastic about things, and so if I get carried away, forgive me. But there were 3 key things that I wanted to run through with you all today. First of all, I got to have a wonderful visit up in Williamston, South Carolina on the first day of school. Got to see some sweet little freshmen who were wandering around lost, and we got to guide them to their class, and it was just a wonderful experience there at Palmetto High. But the Department of Education executive team over the last few weeks took 2 days to really step back and evaluate where we are and where we want to go. I think you always have to begin with the end in mind, and I think I've said it in this context before, but I truly believe that one of the primary jobs of leadership is creating clarity of the vision and mission, and then alignment of resources to accomplish that mission and vision. And so the document that I gave you today is called a 1414 strategic plan. And you say, what does 1414 mean? Well, if you look on the back, there's a little rubric that's 1414. So it is very literally named. But this is a strategic planning tool that we're using as an executive team to really help focus and drive our efforts. If there is one thing that I have found in this department is that there is no end of things competing for your time. And you could go down 20 rabbit holes in a day and never come back up again. And so I think we always have to keep that big strategic vision and mission in mind. And so I was able to share this weekend actually with the Education Oversight Committee at their annual retreat. And so wanted to bring it before you all as well. And the way that, or my vision for how this could potentially help inform our work together is that I would love for us to be able to sit down with the Education Oversight Committee and really come up between the agency, the board, and the committee with a shared vision for where we want to be in 2030. I think that's how creating that vision and then aligning our individual capacity and resources behind that vision is how we're really going to see transformative change in education in the state. And so as my team and I thought about where do we want to be in 2030, obviously our main goal is that every child is college, career, or military ready by the time they leave a South Carolina school. But in order to set a manageable, tangible benchmark, we said that our goal in 6 years is for at least 75% of students in South Carolina to be at or above grade level. And we have big deficits right now. That is an ambitious, ambitious goal, and it's going to take a lot of people working very hard and pulling together in the same direction to do that. And so when we stepped back and said, all right, if that's our 6-year goal, what do we have to hit? What are some 3-year targets and milestones that we really need to focus on if we are going to accomplish that mission? And I'll speak a little bit later about our literacy initiative. That obviously is critical. We know we've lost ground in math as well, so really prioritizing math standards and high intensity tutoring and many other things that we can do to move our math numbers. And then of course, statewide community engagement. I think this is something I've mentioned in my reports in the past. Something I have a strong passion for here is using the platform of the Department of Education to really help put out a statewide call to action for an army of volunteers. I think there are so many people who want to engage in our school system and our education system to support our teachers and our students, but who may not have a clear pathway for how to do that. And so I hope that that's a service that over the coming year we can really help build up here within the department to offer as a service to our folks in the districts who may need those substitute teachers or need some tutors or mentors from a pool that they can draw from. But the fourth thing here on the 3-year goal that I wanted to briefly highlight is the idea of what I'm calling a CARE program, which is Character and Resilience Education. And that is not a one-size-fits-all curriculum or really even a curriculum at all, but it's more of an umbrella of resources that I want to see us pull together as the Department of Education that can be helpful to our districts as we think about what it's going to take to prepare our children to meet the profile of the South Carolina graduate with some of those soft skills, those intangible skills that we know that all of us have to be successful. And when I think about those skills, I think about what are values that unite us as a community, as a state, as a nation, and how can we help support the character development of our students and build that resilience? So I was privileged a couple of weeks ago to be able to go down to the USS Yorktown. And you all may be aware that the Congressional Medal of Honor Museum actually lives there on board the Yorktown. Congress has actually designated South Carolina and that location as the official home for the U.S. Congressional Medal of Honor Society, which is an incredible honor for of all the states in the country for that to be located here in South Carolina. And so while I was there, I learned about a curriculum that teachers have developed for teachers, by teachers, for teachers, that is built on the 6 civic virtues that we want every American, and I think every South Carolina student, to graduate with. I brought the program here that I got from them. It's the virtues of courage, commitment, sacrifice, patriotism, integrity, and citizenship. And this curriculum uses the stories of these Medal of Honor recipients to illustrate the resilience and these different virtues that it takes to overcome obstacles. Because I think as we honestly acknowledge the mental health challenges that we know that our children are having, I think it's incredibly important that we talk about how we build an I can mentality within them, because we all are going to face tremendous obstacles in life. They may look different, and they will look different from person to person, but what defines us as individuals is how we respond to those obstacles. How can we help our students build the character and the resilience that they need to face life's challenges with strength and with commitment and with the resilience that it will take to see them through. So I actually have a book here, and I unfortunately am going to have to duck out a little bit early since we're starting late, but I'd welcome you to look at it and would just ask the staff to get it back to my office. This is a very treasured possession. It was given to me by General Livingston in Charleston, who is in his 80s and is a Medal of Honor recipient himself, but we actually were privileged here at the department just a couple of weeks ago to welcome Leroy Petrie, who is a Medal of Honor recipient who received it in 2011 from President Obama for his courage in Afghanistan. And he is missing a hand. And just his story in brief, he was in a firefight in Afghanistan. There was a grenade that was lobbed at them. He picked up the grenade to toss it back. It exploded. He lost his hand instantly. And what's so amazing about his story is that he radioed in that 3 of his fellow Rangers were down. And then he said, oh yeah, by the way, I lost my hand. And he wouldn't be evacuated out until the enemy had been defeated. And these are the kinds of stories of real life bravery and heroism that I believe our students can benefit from knowing. And so I'm very excited to continue to go deeper, learn more about this curriculum and other resources like that I think we as a department can really help collate and curate to provide as a resource for our teachers who are out in the field trying to assist our students. The last thing that I will mention to you that obviously is a big part of this strategic plan is literacy. And so I wanted to give you just a very quick update about where we are in the rollout of the LETRS program that we've talked about previously. So I am very excited to share that Abby Duggins has let me know that we have 67 of 76 of our districts who have at least one cohort of educators who are engaged in this LETRS professional development. Across all of the different cycles of training that we have had, 11,200 teachers have either begun or are in process of completing this LETRS training. So we have a cohort of just over 5,000 that's going to be starting this fall, and then another cohort that will be starting in the winter. And so we are incredibly excited about this. And I actually had a very short video that I wanted to share. I just think it's a wonderful thing to be able to celebrate success where we see it. So our brief video, I think it's about 2 minutes, this time comes from the Chester School District, and I'd love for you to hear about their LETRS journey in their own voice.
Word hog. Hog. Good. How many sounds do we hear? We hear 3 sounds. Very good. Kiss your smart brains.
That's what gets us out of bed in the morning. That's what helps us push through the really hard days, is to see those kids grow like you know they can. LETRS has definitely helped me. I have the diagnostic tools that I need to dig in deeper, because I had some of the skills, but there were definitely some kids that were getting missed, sadly. So they won't get missed as much now.
We really weren't seeing the growth that we wanted And we knew that there was a missing piece, we just didn't know what it was. And when we really drilled down into it, once letters was introduced, we said, that's it. You know, it's not that the teachers were not trying, they just needed an additional tool in their toolbox. That tool is letters. Letters is not a literacy curriculum. It's not something else to do. It's best practices. It's going to provide those strategies and really the foundation.
Let's try it again.
When I think about letters, and when you mentioned foundation earlier, I thought about the cornerstone. That's like the one piece of the building that holds everything together. And I really look to letters as like the cornerstone because the data show that we struggled with phonics and we needed help with phonics. And just from comparing data from last year to this year with MAP reading fluency, I have seen significant growth with kindergarten through third grade. Over 10% in each grade level showed increases in those areas. So our teachers have seen the results, and it's that piece, that missing piece.
The key is that you've got to be able to read it yourself. I want them to have good lives. And I want our nation to be stronger, and that's the way, is to make sure that we have people who know how to read and understand what they're reading and read critically so that they can make connections and make our world a better place.
Isn't that wonderful? So a big shout out. I'm just so proud of our teachers in Chester and their incredible students who have started this journey. And what I want to emphasize to y'all is that we're just on the very front end of this. We're already seeing such encouraging anecdotal results, and I truly believe that that impact is only going to continue to grow over time as we equip more and more of our teachers across the state with this skill. And I'll close by saying we actually are about to offer a letters cohort to professors in our education prep programs, because I think that that's really where this starts, is that it's wonderful that the state of South Carolina is investing this money to give our teachers these skills, but it is absolutely essential that our teachers start to get these skills in their ed prep programs. And so we're going to be working to build a coalition with our colleges and institutions of higher education across the state to make sure that they are getting this learning as well. So with that, Madam Chair, I'll conclude my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do any of our board members have any questions for Superintendent Weaver? All right. Thank you so much for that report, and that is very exciting, and we just appreciate your passion because it shines through, and thank you for the commitment and dedication of everyone in the department and all that you do.
Yeah, and I'll leave this here if anybody wants to look at it.
All
So-
right. Next, we will not have a parliamentarian report today, and we do not have anyone signed up for public comment, so that moves us on to our state board items and our committee reports. I'll begin with the Policy and Legislative Committee. We did have one item on our agenda this morning for approval, and that was the first reading of the proposed amendments to the State Board of Education Regulation, SC Code 43243.1, criteria for entry into programs of special education for students with disabilities. It was approved during our committee meeting to move that to our full board agenda. So a little later in our meeting, we will have a presentation regarding that, and then we will vote on that at that time. Also, for information, we were provided a presentation regarding the 22-23 report of the accreditation of school districts in South Carolina. And we had that information, and I know you also received that information as well. Does anyone have any questions regarding the Policy and Legislative Committee report? All right, hearing none, this is a motion from our committee for that report. It does not require a second. Is there any discussion? Okay. Hearing none and with no questions, all in favor, please vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. I would now like to recognize Mrs. Lee to give us a report for the Educator Professions Committee.
Thank you, Chair Stapleton. The Education Professions Committee approved 4 action items earlier this morning. Item 1, 2023-24 updates to the South Carolina Certification Assessment Program. Item 2 is a new Educator Preparation Program approval recommendation, Coastal Carolina University Master of Arts in Teaching. Action item 3 is a new educator preparation program approval recommendation, Network for Alternative Preparation and Teaching at Winthrop University. And item 4 is an alternative route program approval, additional certification fields for teachers of tomorrow. The committee did not hear any information items this morning. The Education Professions Committee placed the 4 action items on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. Does anyone have any questions for Mrs. Lee? Okay, then that is a motion from their committee for that report. It does not require a second. Is there any discussion? Okay. Hearing none and with no questions, all in favor, please vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. We did not have a Standards Learning and Accountability Committee meeting today, but we did have an Educator Licensure Committee meeting today. So I'd like to call on Mr. Walters.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and we certainly did have a meeting this morning.
We did.
For anybody that's curious about what the Office of General Counsel was up to this summer, they could have spent 2 hours with us this morning and learned all about it.
You're exactly
They
right.
were quite diligent in getting a number of cases ready for us today, and there was a total of 25. Of those 25, there were 18 breach of contract cases. There were 2 public reprimands, 1 unprofessional conduct, 2 permanent voluntary surrenders, 1 adept case, and then 1 case was remanded back to the Office of General Counsel for some further work. So it's a total of 25 cases that we heard this morning.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the work that your committee does, and to all of our board members for all of the preparation you do in preparing for those cases, and to the Office of General Counsel for preparing them so that we can be prepared.
And those
Lots
cases
of
were
things.
ratified in the full board.
Yes, thank you. Because we were having a full board licensure committee meeting today, we did already ratify those cases that he referred to. We also had other cases that we looked at as a full board, and that was 7 total cases for consideration. It resulted in 3 application denials, 3 orders of suspension, and 1 permanent revocation. And that was a total of 13 cases that were resolved today. So thank you to everyone involved in that. And again, thank you so much to our Office of General Counsel for their help. We now will look at the consent agenda. So you had items that were presented today that's been discussed, and the action items were moved to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Crimminger. Board Member Crimminger made a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Walters, for that second. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. At this time, for our South Carolina Board of Education report, we are going to listen to a presentation regarding the first reading of proposed amendments to the State Board of Education regulation regarding criteria for entry into programs of special education for students with disabilities. As I shared earlier, that was presented to the Policy and Legislative Committee earlier this morning. We have Ms. Lisa McClyman. Close? Okay, got it. I struggled with that this morning. I was trying to remember how I said that. With the Office of Special Education in the Division of College and Career Readiness, and she is here to present that first reading for us today.
Thank you. IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, provides us very specific requirements for states in developing criteria for eligibility for entry into special education. There's 13 disability categories under IDEA. The last time South Carolina revised that criteria was in 2011, so it's been about 12 years. And we are requesting revisions to account for developments in the field over those last 12 years, guidance that the Office of Special Education Programs on the federal level has provided to states and to South Carolina in particular, and to provide clarity and more uniform implementation of our eligibility criteria. So that's just the basics, but any questions that I can answer for you?
For our board members, I know you have those proposed amendments in front of you. Does anyone have any questions at this time?
My greatest fear that you were going to ask me to read it, and I was like, it's 24 pages. It's not the typical 3 lines.
And I know many of our board members were present this morning
Right,
whenever
correct.
they could answer any questions, ask any questions then for clarification. So we appreciate you coming back today and presenting that to them as a whole. If there are no questions, we will now entertain a motion to approve the first reading of these proposed amendments.
I so move.
Thank you, Ms. Allison. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a second from Ms. Frierson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and that motion carries. Thank you. I would like to ask Deputy Superintendent Matthew Ferguson from the Division of College and Career Readiness to come forward and share with us the literacy update and updates regarding Allendale County School District and Williamsburg County School District.
Good afternoon, everyone. As you probably have already heard, Superintendent Weaver shared all my fun facts about the literacy update, which I think speaks to the fact that she is really focused on moving the needle forward in student achievement around literacy in the state. But I think it is, just to underline that for us, there are 67 out of 76 districts that have joined the Coalition of the Willing. They have signed up and said, we want to participate in this professional development. So I think that's a great first start. We have 5,000 teachers who are starting in August or September, the professional development. Our plan is to add an additional 5,000 teachers in January. And after we start this year, there will be about 10 to 12,000 still left. So there will be work to do next year as well. And one of the things, too, just for you to know, is that does not account for some of the attrition in teachers moving in and out of the state or teacher recruitment and retention. So we are looking at 5,000 starting. We know we have 12,000 more, but there will be some leakage in that. So we're going to have to we are thinking through how we are planning for those additional teachers after that too. But it's been very well received by the vast majority of districts. So we are looking forward to getting that started. Many have already started. So that has been great. And also, Superintendent Weaver also mentioned, but we have also gotten a lot more positive interest from our institutes of higher ed and the EPPs who are saying they want to be a part of this training as well. We have not yet started that cohort, but we are looking forward to beginning that in the fall too, so that we can go upstream of this problem and provide the training during educator prep, not just after someone has graduated with a teaching certificate. So that is our literacy update. Any questions about that?
Any questions? Dr. O'Shields?
No, I just want to say thank you. I do think we are one of the districts, thanks also to Abby and company, the way that it has been rolled out, the fact that it focuses on the science of reading and not merely the philosophy of it, has, I think, been very well received, and Dr. Duggins allowing us to use it as corporate and collective professional development so that no one feels with a gotcha. And I do think this will move, I really do think this will move the needle. And we have been part of the first group because we had a school that required it, and we just made a decision that all of our elementary schools would do it. And I just think it is something that will indeed make an impact, because seeing Chester on screen, we emulate Chester in some respects, and to see that excitement, I think, is an exciting part for all students of all ability levels and all socioeconomic levels.
And Dr. Schultz, I'll add too, so Superintendent Weaver mentioned that we are hearing anecdotally that it's moving the numbers. I promise y'all, as soon as I have the real numbers, that I'm going to come and show those to you. I think we should be able to do that around October, because I'm an English teacher, but I'm also a numbers person. If it doesn't show up in the numbers, I don't quite believe it. The buzz is out there. I'm hearing from principals and superintendents who are saying, have you seen our data this year? It's really up, and a lot of those folks are attributing to the work that they've done over the last 2 years in letters through the PLP movement. But just as soon as I can publicly talk about those numbers and show you graphs, I'm going to do it. So it won't just be anecdotal in the next few months.
That's great, thank you. And I'm excited because we are one of the 67, so I'm very excited about that. But I know I am so appreciative too for the foresight to include the professor cohort and the teacher prep program. That is so important for those entering the field, so thank you. Ms. Allison?
No, that is exactly what I was going to say, is I'm so thankful that higher ed is involved in this, because that is going to be such an asset to new teachers coming on.
It is.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Ms. Crimminger.
Do we have access to the districts that are doing this?
I don't know if that list is where we could access that right now or not, but maybe in the future we
In the
could.
future, I'm happy to get that to you. I have the numbers. I don't know all of the districts who are on and who are not. And then also some districts they may have one school, they may have 3 schools, some went district-wide. So it depends on the district and where they decided to prioritize this year. And because it was also the summer, many had other plans, and so they're working to add us in January or next year. But we can get you a list of who is on that.
Wonderful, thank you. No, I think that's great, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we'll move into our school district reports.
Yes, ma'am. So Allendale and Williamsburg. So as you also alluded to earlier, there are about 50% of the districts who have already started school. And so Allendale was one of them. Allendale began school on August the 2nd. They have had a successful start to the school year. The schedules were in place. There were teachers in the rooms. And so it was a successful start to the school year. We have been working through with district office in building capacity and working towards a plan that moves the academic needle in both Allendale and Williamsburg. So, for example, our expectation, the goal that we are setting for both Allendale and Williamsburg academically is that there will be no school in the district that receives an overall rating of unsatisfactory or below average, and that there will also be no school in the district that receives an academic rating of unsatisfactory. Currently, as it stands, there are many schools in both districts that meet that criteria. And so since we have set that expectation, we have been walking through at the district level, at the school level. If this is our expectation, what actions, what changes need to take place programmatically, professional development, curricularly, that move the needle so that we are meeting that expectation. And we are working collaboratively with the schools and the districts to do that, not the State Department coming in and telling you have to do this or you have to make that. We're trying to build capacity because the idea behind this work is that we are building capacity, we are working towards improvement so that we can return control back to the local districts. And it's been a refreshing, reset first start. We have a lot of work to do, and there are a lot of improvements that are necessary for us to get to those benchmarks because I can't say that, y'all. I was about to say what the data is because that data is in my head, but it is still embargoed, so I cannot share those results until that becomes publicly available. But there is much work to be done, but we are working towards those improvements and developing plans with the districts, with the schools to move us forward. Also, thinking through the superintendency in Allendale, just an update, we have conducted first round interviews. We had many qualified candidates apply. We will be going to round 2 interviews in the coming weeks, and then also wanting to take some of those folks out to meet the community and do some community engagement. But it is our hope that we will have someone permanently in place in September to be the permanent or the long-term superintendent in Allendale County.
Wonderful. Thank you for that report. Are there any questions? Yes, Ms. Allison.
Mr. Ferguson, did you have difficulty in placing staff, primarily teachers, in both of those districts this time?
Ms. Allison, that is a great question. So we've been working through that and thinking all the classes are covered. We've also been looking at class size. So for example, in some of the districts, there are class sizes that are 10 and 11 to a teacher. And so that doesn't make sense, in my opinion, for us to have a sub with a group of 10 kids. So we are combining those classrooms. So it may be 20 to 1. And that also is not an unreasonable number. So we've been looking at how to combine classes to make sure that every child has a certified teacher in front of the classroom. We've also looked at district office certification and administrator certification to say, if you're certified in middle school science, you may be doing this for part of the day, but you can cover a period or two during middle school to make sure that those teachers benefit from a certified teacher, because we're about the students and making sure that they are covered. So all classrooms are covered, and we've also looked at how to ensure we are using our personnel in the most effective way.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you so much for your report today. We appreciate it, and we appreciate everything you do that touches all of the students in the state of South Carolina. Regarding other business, I do ask that all board members who haven't turned in your travel sheets, that you get those to Tracy, so that she has those before you leave today. And I don't believe we have any other business. It seemed like it went too quickly and smooth, but that is because you have been meeting all day today to get to this point. So we appreciate your time. But with no other business, I would welcome a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Dr. O'Shields. A second?
Yes. Second.
Yes, Ms. Collier. And all in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, this meeting stands adjourned.